Welcome into the Detroit Lions Live postgame show presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Detroit still holds on to all of their destiny going forward into this season. 13-2 now with a 34-17 final from Soldier Field here in Chicago against the Bears, who fall to 4-11 on the season. Detroit still could clinch that number one seed in the NFC. They still got to get through two games here, two more opponents coming up. But for Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Thanks so much for tuning in. We were just talking about all of the new records this offense broke, from Amon-Ra St. Brown to Jahmyr Gibbs to Jared Goff. It was the defense that set the tone early on, whether or not they forced it, but coming up with two fumble recoveries early in this game really helped set the tone.
That was big. That was huge, Danny, and it was much needed. We have been trying to get turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. Been a little while since we got a few, but today these guys, they really were optimistic with trying to get the ball, trying to set up our offense in good field position. And the defense, man, they have been playing well. They really have been. Little yardage given up, but it was kind of that bend, don't break, and that's what I love about our defense, especially with all the new people that we have up there.
Bend, don't break certainly is the mindset. If we're going to nitpick, defense did allow Chicago to score in the first half for the first time in 4 games, which they were able to do right before halftime commenced. But taking a look at the final stats, there is still a staggering amount of yards that Chicago was able to put up, over 300 today. 382 to be exact. Those two turnovers were daggers in this one today. Caleb Williams going 26 of 40, 334 yards on the day, 2 touchdowns. He still has not thrown an interception in over 300 pass attempts. And then Jared Goff, 23 of 32, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. That is his 41st game with 300-plus passing yards for Goff, Lomas.
Man, you know, Danny, we've been talking about it all year long, but just the level that Jared is playing at and the level that a ball he's been playing at all year long, again, should be one of the strong candidates for MVP. At least I feel that way. But Jared has been nothing but great for us all year long. Like I say, that easy demeanor. He's a good guy with spreading the ball around, making sure all his guys get touches. So he's been great for us all year long.
Head coach Dan Campbell, I'm sure, is going to have some great things to say about his QB1. He's standing by now at the podium. Let's hear from him.
Okay. You got a smile on my face. I was proud of our guys that bounced back. I knew they would. Right mindset. You know, and it takes a special group of guys to emotionally, physically, psychologically bounce back after a tough loss, especially when you haven't lost in a while. Go out and win on the road again. I told the guys that I did know that was a team record, franchise record, 13 wins has never been done. And I told them one day we'll be able to look back and enjoy that. But not yet. It's not the time. So we got our work cut out for us next week. San Francisco on the road. Very good team. But as far as today, we did what we had to do. Got 2 takeaways, turned those into 10 points. Got up on them early and really was able to control the game. And it just, I thought we played that game the right way. Thought we played it the right way. So it's a good job.
Just a lot of guys watching Washington just beat or go up on Philadelphia this side.
Oh, they did? I didn't know what that was. Oh, how much time's left? Yeah, I got you. Well, why don't we just sit here and wait for this?
I did suggest that.
Yeah.
Offensively, you talked about the scored 6 your first 7 possessions, I think, and wanted to ask you specifically about the Laporta play, the stumbles there. Was that a planned kind of stumble with him and stumble with the running back, that setup there? Because it froze the defense and made Laporta open. I've never seen that before. You have a big smile, so I'm guessing it was. Just how deep does the...
It was... it was. Listen, Ben. That was one of his brainchilds, and it started that way, and then we massaged it and worked it, and how do we make this thing better, and then just Goff and Gibby and Laporta, the O-line, making it work. So we cooked it all week, and they did a heck of a job. They really did.
When that works like that, just how much do you have just a smile on your face?
Yeah, I mean, those make you feel good, because everybody's invested in it. It's fun. It's different. It's sound. I know it sounds crazy, but it's sound. I mean, the thing did start as like dribbling the ball on the ground, which, and so that's the thing. You have all those elements, and really everybody's involved in it. So, they're all kind of accountable to it too. They want to make it work. So it was just great to see, and it was better than practice. It's just no different than the shot to Jahmyr. It looked good in practice. That was better than practice. I mean, it was a hell of a throw, excellent protection, and man, just a great job, man, on his landmark, hitting it with speed, trusting it, great catch, and it's big time.
And speaking of the pass to Jahmyr, it's the second week in a row Jared put a deep ball kind of right on him. How have you seen that connection become more refined this season?
Say the last part.
How have you seen that connection become a little bit more refined this season?
Yeah. You're saying that it's become more refined. Yeah, I would agree with that. And look, it's as with anything, when you work things enough and gain confidence, but then get in the game and make those things happen, you gain another level of confidence. And those are the ones that don't always get worked, right? Some can say lower percentage throws, and so you don't always get all those. But the more you hit and the more you do it, the more you trust who you're throwing to, where he's going to be, the speed, he trusts the throw, then you get better at it. And so I feel really good with where we're at, and he's got rare speed and rare ability. I thought he had a great week of practice, talking about Jahmyr, and Goff continues to just play at a high level. So it was great. It really was.
How much do you appreciate Jahmyr's response to the early taunting penalty? Saw you had a couple words with him, just to fire back the way he did career most.
Oh, he was great. He was great. He was. So came over, and it's like, look, you just can't give him a free ride, and he knew, so just get it out of the way and get back on the field. And he was good, man. That's what I love about him. He doesn't get bent out of shape, He just got it, and he goes back in, and it doesn't affect the way he plays the rest of the game. It was great, man. I really love where he's at right now. I do.
And I know you didn't have any doubts after last week, even if other people did. But to be here now, injuries, your offense recovered. I mean, even the Eagles lost.
Did they lose?
Yeah. I mean, from the last week to now, you must feel worlds better, or were you not even feeling that bad?
No, well, getting a win's always makes you feel better, but it's really the 24-hour deal. You just, you get through that, and, you lick your wounds a little bit, and then you get back on your feet, and what do we got to do to get better? What do we have to clean up? And look at it for what it is and not the loss. Like, there's things that cause the loss. And it's really that simple. And man, by Tuesday, like, I'm raring to go. And I think most of the players are that way, and the other coaches are that way. And so then it's just about, man, let's get to the next game and put our best foot forward and go get a W. And I just think we got a group of guys that we all feel the same way, man. We don't go in the tank. We don't lack confidence. And, I think just collectively, I know, look, I gravitate to people that are like me in that manner, and between coaches, players, and I think that's, we have a group that is that way. They're very resilient, and they get aggravated if they lose, and they want to clean it up. So they're competitive.
Well, they said played a pretty complete game, and I think most people would have expected you to beat this team, just given the record like that. How much can you totally tell about where your team is, your defense is, some of those things, until you play a team like the Vikings, or until you get into the playoffs? Do you know enough? Yeah, you can tell a lot. To me, you can tell a lot. And look, there's things we've got to clean up from this game. I mean, we've got a lot to clean up. And but as I told them, the two most important things for me was I wanted to see us play Detroit football, and I wanted to win. That was it. I gave no other stipulations. Now, we have all the, offensively, defensively, we have the keys to victory over that. But basically, that's what I saw. I just wanted to see our identity take shape, and I wanted to win this game. And we did that. So now we're back on our feet. And now it's about, we got to clean some things up, And because what was good enough today will not be good enough for Minnesota. And it won't be good enough for Philly or whoever some of these teams are. Tampa, again, I don't know who's going to be. The Rams. We got to, but that's the point, was this week
there was things we needed to clean up with where we were at and begin to learn how to play with where we're at. We did that. Now next week we'll know a little bit more and we'll be able to adjust. And then the final week we'll learn a little bit more and be able to adjust. And then by then you're in the playoffs and you're playing your best football with where you're at.
Spoke about the trick plays a little bit. There's a lot of celebrations out there, but it seems like it's rooted in that. How do you balance that, having fun, but also staying focused in the process as well?
I mean, I think you do both, right? I think there is fun and focus. There is fun and focus when it turns to those type of plays having success. When you score and you win, and I think that's kind of the environment that you foster. And because ultimately we want our guys to be challenged, we want them accountable, we want them to have fun, we want them to have ownership. And investment, man. We're all a part of this, and I think that's huge. And I think our guys get that. And really, to me, to have a healthy group of guys, a healthy team, you need every emotion involved. Everything needs to be involved to get the whole person and the whole player. So I love where we're at. We got a lot to clean up, but we have a resilient group. And like I said, every game may be like today was. And what I mean by that is it may not be the cleanest. We just got to win. We just got to win and get more efficient at winning with where we're at. And so this was a good step that way.
Speaking of the competitive nature of the group, the reaction we heard behind the wall, I assume, tied to Washington's touchdown. Can you describe it all, what this means, chasing the number 1 seed, the feeling, the emotion, the joy of all of this, just based on what we heard 5 minutes ago? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I can tap into that like the players could right now because I'm just trying to recover from this game. I get pretty emotionally drained after these. So, but I do know that it's exciting to be where we're at. It really is, and like this is why you want to coach and play in this league. This is when your eyes get open, when competition is at its highest, people are breathing down your neck, or you're chasing somebody and you're at the top. And it just doesn't get any better than this. This is what it's all about. And so, can it get frustrating? Can it get stressful? Yeah, it gets all those, but it's also it's the drug. It's the drug. This is what you live for. And look, some can't handle this. It's too much for them. Players, coaches, teams. It's just too much. But not our group. This is the good stuff, man, and we're in the middle of it right now.
Before you go, Gibbs, you leaned on him heavy early. He had a big game. Just thoughts on the way that he played and carrying the load that he did.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I did. I didn't think that we missed a beat with him. Just taking on a little bit more of those. I thought Jefferson and Craig stepped in and were solid in the roles that we had for them. Both of those guys made critical plays, and so I thought it was good. And look, that was somewhat his first taste of really taking on more of the load, and so that's good. That's step one, and it was good. Good exposure. Yep.
Being the starting quarterback for the Lions, moving out here to Detroit, what's the first thing you learned about car insurance?
Yeah, I learned it's a challenge, and I'm curious what brought you to Michigan.
We were a big part of the new reform laws that were passed in 2019, went into effect in 2021. So it gave us an opportunity to give affordable rates to people in Michigan that they've been starving for years.
Amazing. Anything else?
Yeah. Go Lions.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to Cure.com to see how you can save. Welcome back. Detroit Lions moved to 13-2 on the season, 7-0 on the road. They are perfect road warriors so far this season. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, had to do it alone here today without his sidekick, David Montgomery, who is currently dealing with a knee injury. We don't know if Montgomery's going to go on IR. No. We don't really have much more information other than the fact that he is trying to rehab that knee and make it a go for playoffs that are coming up.
That's why I love this man. I mean, 3 opinions, and he's still saying, wait a minute, I want to try to get back. I want to try to help these guys. I want to do everything I can, and that's why I love me some David Montgomery.
Well, the run game functioned at a very high level today with Gibbs leading it. And we talked before the show, Christian Mahogany got his first start at offensive line today with Graham Glasgow dealing with an injury. Jahmyr Gibbs, this is his 9th game this season with 100-plus scrimmage yards, and he has over 100 rushing yards to go with 1 touchdown on the day. Why is he so effective without Montgomery in there?
Danny, I think, well, first of all, that offensive line did a great job today. They got physical today. They wanted to prove to people that they're still the offensive line that people thought they were. And Jahmyr, man, like I say, this guy can run inside. He can run outside. When he runs inside, he runs with violence. He runs hard. He's a hard guy to bring down. And, of course, we know if we could get him out in space, he's even harder to get down. So with that combination of ability that he has, that's why he's such a tough guy to get down for defenders.
We saw him running between the tackles 3 times on that touchdown attempt. He had to go at it 3 times along the goal line. But I had the chance to catch up with Gibbs post-game. Here's what he had to say. Jahmyr, back in the third quarter, Sam Laporta touchdown, but right before that, you and your quarterback deserve an Oscar for that intentional tripping. What was the goal of that play for you guys?
Just to get the defense, like the backers, like freeze them, make them think like, oh, like, where's the ball? So when he snapped it, I yelled, ball, 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 dove on the ground. Jared faked it, and I mean, it worked.
How long have you guys been practicing that?
Just this week.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
I don't know if I'm going to give that out. I can't give that out.
Over 100 rushing yards for you today. You had to carry the load without your sidekick, David Montgomery. He's down right now with an injury. How did you make it look so easy today without him?
I mean, the line, but I mean, they do what they do every week. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them, so I mean, kudos to them. They do a great job, and the receivers blocking too. So
this is your 9th game this season with 100-plus scrimmage yards, so you're involved in the receiving game as well. How do you do both at such a high level?
I mean, it's just something I've always done. You know, in high school I played receiver too, so I mean, it comes pretty natural. So yeah.
Coach said that this team is still writing its own story. Number 1 seed in the NFC is still up for grabs. What is the mindset of this team right now?
Just find a way to win every week. Keep our foot on the gas, and I mean, these games like we have to win, like must win. So we just keep that in the back of our head.
Thanks, Shaw. Congrats. Jahmyr, back in the third. We're going to get the name out of this offense on what they called that play where Goff and Gibbs tripped.
Maybe you could rename that play. Either we're going to get the name or me and Danny's going to
the Goff special? I'm sure his trip the week before inspired it. Gibbs got it done in the run game. Jamison Williams went off in the receiving game. 143 yards today on 5 catches. But the 82-yard touchdown bomb is what we're going to harp on today. That was still about a 55-yard dagger from Goff downfield to a wide-open Williams. His average 28.6 yards per reception today. He now has 3 touchdown receptions of 60-plus yards moments. We knew he could do it, but he's getting it done.
Danny, that was a thing of beauty. That connection from Goff to J-Mo, it was unbelievable. Beautiful pass from Jared Goff. I mean, he dropped it in there. J-Mo didn't even have to break stride. And that's what we've been looking for, Danny. That's that explosiveness. That's those guys being on the same page with that chemistry and getting it together. So I'm telling you, he is such a weapon for our offense, the way he could stretch the field. And by him stretching the field, all the guys that run underneath routes, they're free to do that. So J-Mo, man, I'm glad he's back, and I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. And nice job of making up after that unsportsmanlike.
I know. This is obviously our play of the game. 82. He wasn't even close to being touched in the end zone.
Danny. That's a thing of beauty.
Look at Antoine Randall.
Be careful, Coach. I don't want you popping the hamstring.
He probably ran 30 yards down the sideline. I don't know if many people know this, but Coach Randall L, receivers coach, he has a TikTok now.
Oh,
he's keeping up with you on social media, Lomas.
Okay, all right.
It's pretty impressive.
Check him out now.
You should. Sam Laporta, a tight end, also got involved in the receiving game along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was one catch after the next with St. Brown. Coach called him A binky? That's our new name for St. Brown, is the binky of this offense. Very soothing for Goff. Someone he can always go and rely on.
So if, I'm teed in a little bit, I put my binky in, I'm all right. That's right. It calms people down. That's what that binky does. So I love that nickname.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, 70 receiving yards on 6 receptions today. This is his 3rd season with 100-plus receptions. He's only been playing 4 years in the NFL, Lomas, and this I know is our favorite record. He is the only Lion ever with 100 receptions and 10 receiving touchdowns in consecutive seasons. Not even the GOATs like Herman Moore or Megatron did that.
Danny, it's just so unbelievable, and you're right. I was with Herman Moore when he went back-to-back 100 catch seasons, but like you say, the 10 touchdowns, for him to be getting these touchdowns in the production that he's putting up, this is unbelievable. We talking about the Hall of Famer in Calvin Johnson, and soon, hopefully, to be Hall of Famer in Herman Moore, and Amon-Ra is surpassing both of them. It's incredible. It really is.
Tight end Sam Laporta continues to make big waves here in just his 2nd year in the NFL. I think some people forget that. He's only in year 2, but he now has the 2nd most receptions by a tight end through his first 2 seasons when he caught his 133rd catch today, and that surpassed one of the greatest tight ends, Rob Gronkowski. Laporta finishing with 43 receiving yards on 4 receptions, and that touchdown that came after Gibbs and Goff fake tripped on the field for their Oscar.
That was big. You're right. That was. Maybe we'll call it the Oscar.
Why not?
We'll call it that because it was an incredible play, and you really didn't know what you were seeing at first. But, man, when they went back and replayed it, just such execution on that play. And that's the hardest part, Danny. The coaches can draw up any play that they want to. The guys got to go out there and be able to execute it, and that's what they've been doing. Goff
executed another game almost close to perfection. He looked very calm out there, was able to manage this offense, move it beyond the sticks. He didn't make very many mistakes here today either, Lomas.
No, and he has it all season long. Then think about just the one game where he had. But other than that, Jared's been the same way he's been all year long, and that's why this offense has looked the way it's looked all year long. That's why we're the number 1 scoring offense. That's why we're so proficient when we get in the red zone. So kudos to Jared, kudos to Ben Johnson, but kudos to those guys up front and the rest of the guys on the offensive side of the ball.
Goff is our player of the game because he helped these Lions set a single-season franchise record for touchdowns scored. Previous best was last season with 58, so they are now 59-plus touchdowns here, and most points scored in franchise history. How many points do you think Lions have scored this season? This is my quiz for you.
They got to be over the 500. They're getting close to 500 points.
They're pretty close.
Oh, got to be
They're pretty close. They had to beat 479 coming into here today. So they're pretty dang close to it. Goff, his final stats, completion percentage, 72%, which is what he has stayed at all season long. Top 2 completion percentage in the NFL, and he tosses 3 touchdowns today, including the 82-yard bomb we just saw to Jameson Williams replay there. So this offense has been so impressive, and a big reason for that is Goff, who is standing by at the podium now. Let's hear from him.
Take me through the Laporta touchdown there. When did that start? What was your reaction with that one down on paper for the first time? And Dan said you worked on it all week. That was the best you would run it in the game, actually. Can you just, what was the genesis of that?
We did work on it all week. We ran it probably 3 or 4 times through the week, and the genesis was that's a good play for that scheme. It is, but they're in tune with it on defense. That is a good play, and that it's hard to get that on them because those linebackers are so dang good at seeing it develop. So at first it started on Monday with Ben asking me if he thought I could actually fumble on purpose and pick it back up. I was like, I don't know about that, and we kind of got off that pretty quickly, and we're like, let's just pretend we're falling or pretend I'm fumbling but I'm holding on to the ball. And I think the part that Gibbs where he dives really sells the play. I'm only doing half of it, but it worked. It worked like a charm, and was nice to score there.
John was a team fumble.
Were they yelling it?
I think it picked it up over the broadcast.
The O-line, I think they were telling them they just yell fumble.
It's 2 weeks in a row with Jameson Williams where you put a deep ball kind of right on him there. How's your connection with him becoming a little bit more refined over this season?
Yeah, it just continues to grow. We work on it a ton, him and I do, and he's a testament to him. He's asking for it. He wants that work, and I'm more than happy to give it to him during the week, and it's good. Our connection continues to grow. He's obviously one of the best deep threats in our league, and even when it's not perfect, and I think those two, last week and then this one wasn't like the perfect look, but for him to make that play today and then finish in the end zone, that's what he's capable of, and going to be more of that hopefully.
What did he do right to get himself so open for?
Just run fast. Genetics.
You guys haven't gotten a lot of help this year. To be sitting there watching a game on your cell phone at the end.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we know the circumstances that we're in, and obviously Washington winning that, does do something for the playoffs, but we still have to win these games, and we know that. It doesn't change what we had to do anyways. So, we got to win, and San Francisco's next.
You let yourself enjoy those phones, though? I mean, we heard the reaction.
For sure.
In Washington. You're 13-2.
Yeah, we enjoy it. Yeah.
You're the number one seed. How fun is this right now?
We enjoy it for about, as long until we take off from here, and then it's kind of over. But, we'll enjoy it today and the old 24-hour rule and come back to work tomorrow and get back to it.
Jared, what does Ben do to help you guys get off to such good starts? What does he do to kind of make that comfortable and get things moving right away for you guys?
I mean, we've got our first opener plays. It doesn't mean we're always going to stick to them, but we've got plays that we want to get off the sheet pretty early that we're intent on, and I think he does a good job of setting up plays later on by doing that, and he's very aware of how to, start fast, that we want to start fast, and I thought we did start fast today. I thought our first half was really good. I thought our second half was subpar, and myself personally, I thought was subpar in the second half, but I think we were able to overcome.
After all the talk of injuries, how eager were you guys just to get out there and show what you have, and like every element of the offense, you put on display?
Yeah, I don't know if we were eager. We were just ready to go play. We weren't eager to shut anyone up. Things are going to be said every week no matter what, and people are going to say this, people are going to say that. You win, people say you're the greatest. You lose, people say you stink. That's how it goes in this league, and unfortunately, it only is getting worse and worse with the world we live in now. But that's what it is.
I'm sure you guys had a ton of confidence in Jahmyr going. I know he handled a little last year in some spots too, but just how good was that just to see him take off the way he did, and now you guys know that he can just, if need be, he can be that guy back there.
Yeah, we always knew. He can do it, and obviously showed today. And I thought he ran great. I thought he saw it great. I thought he caught it out of the backfield great. And then I thought Craig and Jahmyr were awesome too in their own way. And then Vaki at the end of the half there making some plays. Those guys stepped in really nicely today and made it so it wasn't just him, but he did a hell of a job.
We're 6-round pick. This is always rookie training camp. Steps in today. Just how impressed are you?
Yeah.
His ability to come along and during that start.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. I don't know, but it felt like he did a great job standing back there. I know we had the false start. That wasn't on him. That was more on me. But yeah, he really settled. It didn't feel like it was too big for him. He felt like he was comfortable. The guys to his left and right are veterans, and he settled in nicely with them.
At the end of the Eagles game for a second, were you guys all watching on your own phones or?
Yeah, I had it on my phone. Okay. But yeah, everyone else seemed to have it on their phone too. There was no TV in there.
It did seem that.
Yeah.
We heard it.
Yeah.
Maxwell, Sean?
Jared, Dan was just talking about not every team can kind of handle chasing after the one seed, getting chased, the pressure and the expectation. What is it aside from the winning that says a team can kind of handle that? What, from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we're so good at focusing on what matters and dialing back in every week, and sure, enjoying a win like this and enjoying the post game, but then come tomorrow and Tuesday, coming right back down to earth and going back to work. And I think Dan leads the charge on that. But we are so good at focusing on what matters, and we lose last week. Everyone thinks we're done now, and it's like, all right, forget that. That's not even part of our process. We're going to go back to what we do, go back to work, and we did that. We did just that. And last thing, we had a little extra motivation today because it is Solomon's birthday. So, happy birthday, Solomon.
He's 26. 21.
Saint, great game. Is that the best catch you've ever made?
Actually, there was one better.
When? The Chicago game?
Minnesota?
No. Getting Cure Auto Insurance.
Are you for real?
Seriously. When I got here in Michigan, car insurance was the worst. But saving up to 40% by switching to Cure was my best catch.
Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well.
Detroit Lions Live is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Log on to Cure.com to see how you can save. Welcome back to Detroit Lions Live post-game show. Defensively, they got a big key back here today for the first time this season in safety Ifeatu Melifonwu, a.k.a. Iffy. He has battled through 2 different injuries, been on IR 2 separate times for both of those injuries. What did they get back in Melifonwu, who had a really productive end to last season?
They got a playmaker back, Danny, and I mean a big playmaker because, again, you could play Ifeatu in the box like he's a linebacker. You could play him deep like he is the safety, which he is. There's so many things you could do with him. He was able to get a sack today on the blitz. You know, again, they had him coming up to the line of scrimmage, keeping contained. He could do so many things for your defense. He's such a versatile piece that you could plug here, plug there. So it was so good to see him back, see him healthy, Danny, for the first time this year.
Melifonwu, versatile enough to come up to the line of scrimmage, make some plays there, got a sack here today. But we were wondering what would happen to Brian Branch in that instance. Well, he bumped over to nickel, which is what he played last season, and he was still able to produce in that role too.
Without a doubt, man. Brian Branch is all over the field, man. His closing speed, Danny, he plays with reckless abandon when he comes up to make tackles. The guy is all over the field, and it's just been so great to see his progression throughout this year. Still a young guy, and that's what I think a lot of people forget, how young he is, but he gets better and better. Not every game, but he gets better and better every snap on the field, and that's what I love about Brian Branch.
That means Amik Robertson was bumped to the outside. His first time starting at outside corner for the Detroit Lions this season. They had to plug him in there with Carlton Davis being out on IR with a fractured jaw. Robertson was all over the field here today.
And Danny making some great tackles, too, all over the field. And that's what you want from your cornerbacks. And I know that's what Aaron Glenn demands from those guys. Yeah, you got to be able to cover. But one of the other most important things you have to be able to do is come up and support in the run and make tackles. And Amik did it all game long. He was one of our bright spots on the defensive side of the ball.
Defensively, Aaron Glenn's unit was looking for some production and getting to the quarterback. They came up with 2 sacks today, one from Melifonwu, the other one from Elquidine Muhammad. How are they doing with closing the pocket and in containing quarterbacks?
Yeah. It's been touchy, Danny, to be honest with you. And Aaron Glenn has had to design some things. I see a lot of things where they walk up in the gaps, meaning they mug up the linebackers. Sometimes the linebackers come, sometimes the linebackers drop back. I seen Zadarius Smith. I seen him drop back in zone defense. So I see a lot of little things that Aaron Glenn is doing different with some of his personnel. And right now it seems to be working. Again, we got that bend, don't break defense. So the thing we have to continue to try to do, Danny, is try to generate pressure.
They're going to have to do that next week. Week 17 somehow at San Francisco for Monday Night Football. Brock Purdy and those Niners have had a rough stretch of the season. Christian McCaffrey hasn't been healthy. George Kittle hasn't been as productive as he's been in the last few years. There he is right there. What is the number one emphasis with Lions doing an NFC Championship rematch?
Okay, you know what I'm going to say, Danny? Revenge. Sweet revenge.
Yep.
We owe them. We owe them. They ended our season last year, of course, in the most important game that this franchise has had in 30-some-odd years. The guys want to get back to that point. They won't be there, but guess who's going to be there? The Detroit Lions will be there this year, but we want sweet revenge against this team that really knocked us out and destroyed our dreams last year.
One thing we know for sure is that the NFC Championship game is probably going to either go through one of the NFC North opponents in Detroit or the Minnesota Vikings, because Philly lost today to the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels tossed 5 touchdowns today, which means Philly has 3 losses. However, Vikings are taking on the Seahawks today, who have not been great at home so far this season.
No, they haven't been, and we need these guys, please. We need you guys, Seahawks. You're at home. Please take care of business for the Detroit Lions and help us out, please.
Do your job. Win the ball game.
Right.
Win the ball game. Right. You saw an offense get back on track with the run game here today for the Detroit Lions. You saw a defense generate some sacks, come up with some big turnovers. What's your biggest takeaway from today?
My biggest takeaway is heart, grit of this team. Danny, like Coach said, it's no excuses. We're beat up. We got a lot of guys missing, but we're not going to use that as an excuse. We're going there. We're going to continue to fight and do the things that we've been doing before we lost our guys. And damn it, they came out and they did it today. So kudos to those guys taking hard coaching this year, this week, and coming out and getting the job done.
Yeah, Detroit Lions ate some moldy bread against the Buffalo Bills, and now filet steaks are back on the plate.
Ooh, I like
Maybe
that.
on the team plane for the short ride home. We'll see.
Let's do it.
We'll see. The final from Soldier Field, 38-17. Detroit takes down the Chicago Bears, NFC North opponent. This is a big one today. 34-17, rather, is the final. And Lions move to 7-0 on the road. Perfect road warriors. Yes. For Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week at San Fran.